Okay, so we're back again. A little bit later, Dallas came over, went through the mix, gave some notes. He liked it, so I think I'm happy with this. It's mastered. I got everything. What I ended up doing for the master is I took everything where it was, turned every single track down by about 4 dB, and then brought the master up to where it was just below peaking, and then I did the thing with the limiter. It's not much. I ended up just doing maybe like a negative 1 dB threshold, just to kind of get a little bit more push out of the mix to make it match, but just the loudness of it, I'll play it. So that's my version, and this is the original. Like, it's the same about loudness level, maybe even slightly louder, but it's also more of a full mix than they had. I did a little, I added something else for the solo too. I'll just show you what I originally did. So this is... And it is overdubbed because a different guitar comes in there. I didn't really like how that sounded. It didn't seem like it was enough for like a kind of key part of the solo. So I ended up doing something different, trying to follow him a little bit better and then adding my own spin on it, of course. So he goes... So... And then he goes... Whatever it is. I kept that. Then, and then back into the Hendrix stuff. And I already had done the Voodoo Child part for that. So I stayed true to the original. I did for a little bit of it. That's the same. And so close, but then of course I had to do a little Jake part, which was... Had to hit that note in there. So... Gotta get a little bit of that Jake-ness in there. Then into the Voodoo Child. Yeah, so I'm happy with this mix. I want to just go through and listen and see if there's anything else I want to tweak, but other than that, I'm gonna print it. So, yeah, let's give it a listen. Nice and big, kick's pretty punchy. I'd like the kick to cut through the mix a little bit better if I could, but it's competing with the vocals, so it's okay. The vocals are more important for this song. The bass and kick are locked in enough where it's implied. It's like the kick is implied with the bass. So it's more important to have the vocals kind of stand out. Oh, the other thing I did was so initially I had this little wah-wah part to follow, but there's a lot of, the gate is like, woo, 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 like, you hearing that? The muted notes are coming through. It's because I used the Mesa dual rectifier amp simulator, so it's a lot more high gain, and so all of your like low-end notes are going to come through a little bit more. So, and then I also left a delay on there, which, if you listen to the original, it's pretty tight. Like it's very dry and like tight. So to add to the tightness of it, I just cut out that wah-wah part, and then I brought it back in after the vocal verse. So just a little bit, not super loud, but just to kind of build into the chorus. Might turn down the lead guitar part here, but I like it. In the original, you can't even hear it in the mix, really. If you know what you're listening for, like listening to, if you are aware of the isolated track, you can listen for it, but you wouldn't hear it like traditionally. I want to make it stand out a little bit more, so I'm okay with it being a little bit louder. And I have it sort of automated. There's actually so this is at negative 0.19 dB. Then it goes all the way down to negative 2.5 dB. Right. It's getting quieter. Right there is like the lowest it gets. So it is fading back as the chorus continues. But I really like the note choice that Jerry Cantrell used there. I love that. That's so good. So I wanted to keep that in, at least very forefront in the mix. Also, the other thing, I don't know if I didn't tell you, I didn't show you guys this part, but I replaced all of the toms. I went back down to the kit downstairs and I played like this track of I just hit the toms with the proper mic, because I was using a and you'll see it in the video. I was using a stage mic for the rack tom. I thought it sounded good, but it didn't. And so then I went back and redid everything. I sampled it, but there's not much information there because that microphone just isn't that good. So I did the same thing again. I just went back, played the rack tom and the floor tom with an SM57, and it all kind of matches a lot better now. Like those fills sound a lot better, I think. They don't really, it's kind of hard to cut through the mix because there's just so much. It's a very full mix, but like it's a lot better than it was. And yeah, there's a little bleed in this, and this is from the initial track. The high tom I kept from when I initially played the song, so there's a little bit of cymbal bleed in there. But yeah, it's way more full, and they are panned. High tom is about 30% left side. Rack tom is about 42% this side, and then the floor tom is about 63% to this side. So it's like bum 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 bum. I'm trying to match with the stereo image. Some people do it the opposite way, where they'll do the toms will go like it'll be bum 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 bum, because it's like you're in the audience listening to the drums. I like to have it where it's like you're the drummer and you follow around as well. That's just preference. Other thing I did was I automated the volume just a little bit. The guitars start off pretty loud. Then once this guitar comes in, they go from about negative or plus 4.5 down to 0. So this is kind of like where the rhythm guitars live at this level for most of the song until the chorus, where they drop about 2 dB, just to give the vocals a little more space and that lead guitar part a little bit more space. Except for the second chorus, where they stay the same volume because there's no lead guitar part underneath the second chorus. So we'll play that. And I thought it was going to sound kind of empty, but it doesn't. I think this really lets the vocals shine. I love that little fill, by the way. The bell. Da, 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 da. This is probably not the best example of it, but it's just a nice little touch. It's so simple, man. A lot of this song is it's just so simple, but it's so good. And the solo. That snare. So clear. A little muddy. That feels a little muddy, but gotta throw it in. Gotta throw it in. A little bit of fast stuff. A little bit of fast stuff. Now that I'm listening to it, that first. It sounds like I'm destroying my voice because I was destroying my voice at this point. So we're gonna just see how it sounds with the other vocal I did. I don't know if I love that take. Not in love with. I think I've done this before. I'm not in love with any of the three of them, to be perfectly honest. But I'm gonna have to do it soloed. It might be the strongest one. There's a big crack there in that one. I think that's why I didn't use it. Yeah. And this one is. There's just you can hear the like my I was definitely losing my voice. This was I think the last take. So I wonder if I combine these two. And I'm leaving this other one pretty dry. Just for texture. I don't know. They're all kind of the same. I don't know if really adding helps, to be honest. Yeah, I'm gonna just leave it as that soloed version. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I want to listen one time with headphones, just to get a different flavor. The headphones take out a lot of bass, at least these do. I think these are more accurate to what people will hear. That kick is punching pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that kick. There's also not much else I can do, but I am happy with it. That fill sounds a lot better. And again, I played the fill originally when I did the track. I just took the samples that I played later and just dragged them in to match the waveforms. So it's not like I programmed drums. I kind of did, but I took the waveform and copied it to what I played. So it's basically like if I played what I did with the proper mics. That's my excuse. Trying not to cheat too much here. Yeah, I think this sounds pretty good. That's one thing Dallas and I were talking about. I approached this thing very old school. My biggest example is you can have Travis Barker play a drum part, or you can program a drum part that sounds like Travis Barker. Which one's going to take you less time? 4 takes with Travis Barker will take much less time than it would to program the way he plays. Now, admittedly, you have to be able to play like Travis Barker. Admittedly. But if you spend all that time on the front end just improving your skills and making sure you can play well, that is 1,000 times more valuable in the studio to me than it is how well you can produce or mix or master. That's always been my approach, and I want to keep stuff as authentic and you know, natural as I can. Obviously, in today's day and age, there's no way around the digital format. You have to be able to use a DAW. Like, unless you want to spend thousands of dollars to go record in a studio with analog equipment and preamps and all that, if you want to do this like in the 21st century, you have to be able to use digital. I recognize that. But I want to bring the old school analog mentality of making sure you can play well. The performance is the most important aspect of this, not the sound. The sound comes from the performance. I want to bring that mentality to the digital world, kind of marry the analog ideology with the digital equipment in a way. That's my approach to mixing and producing in general. But Dallas leans towards the just program the drums, like just program the bass. It sounds great. It sounds perfect. There's no variation. You don't have to get somebody to redub something because it's not exactly the same every time. And we can get it out the door super quick. We don't have to think about it. We don't have to worry about it. Like, we want the music to sound as good as it possibly can, right? It's a computer. It's never going to mess up. And that's Dallas's kind of approach, which, again, I totally respect. I think that's definitely a valid way to do this, and I don't think either way is necessarily better than the other. It's just which end do you want to spend more time on? Do you want to spend more time on getting your skills and your performance good on the front end, or do you want to spend more time with your production skills on the back end? I think that's kind of the trade-off, and I prefer, as a multi-instrumentalist, to hone my skills on the front end and then make all this easier. Like, I mean, this isn't played to a click. Like, these guys didn't play to a click in the studio, obviously. Like, none of this is on the grid. Like, I'm purposefully doing things to, like, the grid lines are irrelevant to me, in a way. Cause, I mean, honestly, yeah, they are irrelevant. Because I'm trying to do this as authentic as I can. And having stuff snapped to a grid and a click track and all that stuff is just not as human as me, you know? And so, I mean, obviously, having a click track, you can. I don't mind playing to a click track if I'm recording, but like, relying on everything being snapped to the grid and sounding perfect, I'd rather be a human who makes mistakes than a fake version of myself. That's just kind of my outlook, I guess. I have a song about that. I'll take my imperfections and accept them, because that's what makes me human, you know? Obviously, like, I'm okay with making changes. Like here, with the kick, like, I messed that up when I recorded it. It did not sound like that, so I tweaked stuff and spaced it out so it sounded okay. Which is cheating a little bit, I think, but it's a little different than having everything snapped to the grid and having your transients, like, you know, perfect and everything. And it's just, it takes out all the feel of it. And so yeah, that's why I recorded this song with the drums. I played to the initial drum track. I didn't play to a click. And then I played all the instruments to that drum track I laid down. So yeah, my whole approach is very human-oriented, I guess you could say. But I don't know, that's just my mentality, is to keep it real, keep it natural, do it yourself. Don't have a computer do it for you. It's got to be in you for it to come out into the music. Don't expect a program or a computer to get that humanity or that personality in your music. That's just kind of my thoughts about it. So yeah, I think we're going to print this and just show you the final finished version.